Fox 9 Buzz starts right now with Alex Kendall, Jason Matheson, and Keith Marler.
Money, of course, is a big concern for many people, but a survey released this month found 86% of people in their 20s describe their financial situation as stressful.
I didn't even think about money in my 20s. That was a problem.
That's the problem. Nor did I.
That's right. 80% say they are overwhelmed by their current financial state, but there are ways for younger people to be smarter with money. Joining us with some financial tips is Generation Y expert Christine Hassler. Good morning, Christine.
Good morning.
Okay, yeah, and we're in agreement. Our 20s, I'm like, money? What? But it's good to know that the 20s are thinking about this. And you were part of this study. It was done by American Express. So did the findings surprise you?
Yeah, the study was conducted with Zink from American Express, and they didn't surprise me so much because I work so much with 20-somethings. And here's the thing, they're thinking about money a lot, but what are they actually doing about money? Just because they're stressed out doesn't mean they're actually doing something. In fact, the survey also revealed 52% are still financially dependent on their parents in some way. So there's a disconnect here.
Well, and Christine, don't you find part of the trouble, and I don't want to speak for you, but I know this happened to me, and I'm just being really brutally honest. The problem starts in college when you turn 18 and you get attacked by 40,000 credit card applications, which are very enticing because, oh, I can buy a stereo, I can buy this.
They didn't have credit cards when I was starting in 20, so thank God.
I'm sorry. Anyway, well, I had credit cards. Alex used Plinko chips or something, but isn't that usually where the problems start?
Yeah, the problem starts, and it isn't necessarily the credit cards, it's a lack of education. Credit isn't a bad thing if you really know how to use it. That's why I really advocate more of a charge card approach like Zink, because you pay your balance in full every month, and you're not accumulating that debt.
You mentioned Zink. What is that?
Zink is a charge card from American Express, and it has a low annual fee that 20-somethings can afford. They get reward points, and unlike a debit card, they're working towards their credit score. That's another thing we need to talk about with 20-somethings.
Building credit.
Building credit. Knowing what impacts your credit, how long you've had an account open, how many accounts you have open, if you're paying your balance off in full every month and making those payments on time. These are important things if you want to ever buy a house or buy a big purchase, and even employers sometimes check your credit score. So you got to know what that is.
And that's important for people that are just getting out of college, entering the work world. What kind of advice, how different is the advice that you give a 20-year-old as opposed to a 50-year-old?
Or not, or us.
Or us?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it seems like 50-year-olds are more focused on retirement, more long-term. And 20-somethings, I encourage them to focus on investing and savings as well. But the first thing with 20-somethings is looking at your current financial picture. And are you living within a budget? And 20-somethings, another thing they reported in the survey that we did is that they really are concerned about spending within their means. And my advice is forget spending within your means. Spend below your means so you can put money aside so that you can build good credit and so that you aren't so stressed out about money. I mean, that's one of the reasons we're all so stressed out is because we're living above our means. And 20-somethings grew up with this kind of idealistic lifestyle that was projected as their future, and now they're facing this job market and this economy with a huge expectation hangover. And so they might not be able to afford the lifestyle they dream of.
Christine, let's talk to the parents that are watching that have these 20-somethings. Some are probably living under their roof, and they're trying to find a way to easily push them out and get them more financially, not only get them out, but get them more financially independent.
Yes.
What is your advice to those parents?
A couple things. First, stop enabling them. It's okay if they scrape their knee a couple times. You know, we can't rescue them financially all the time. And instead of really paying their bills, ask them more questions about what they know about their bills, what they know about their credit. So many parents physically pay their children's bills. Instead, give them a loan with interest, have them physically pay their bills. Also, ask them about their credit. A lot of 20-somethings don't reveal how many credit cards they actually have. They keep that a secret. Have an open conversation. If you need to help them with their credit, one thing you can do, American Express offers additional cards, which means you can get your 20-something on your account, but they can have their own card number so they start building their credit and getting out of that credit disarray.
And don't you think, especially for parents of younger kids, really quick, that the conversation should start? The kids should be, parents should be talking to kids about money. I think some parents are uncomfortable having those conversations. Don't you think it should start well before the 20s?
Well before. You know, so many 20-somethings I talk to, they talk about how their parents talk to them about follow your dreams and find your passion, and they like miss the nuts and bolts conversation. I'm so glad my father is a CPA, so I'm so glad that I had that because he talked to me about money and credit and balancing a checkbook, and that made me far more able to really manage my finances, and it wasn't so much of a shock. He'd sit there at the kitchen table and pay the bills and have me watch. And sometimes parents are embarrassed about their financial situation, so they don't talk to their children. But if we don't talk about it, then we just continue the bad patterns.
We should make it just a continual dialogue, especially when we're, at the store and explaining, why we're going to buy this over this. And
exactly.
It starts when they're this little. Yeah. All right, thank you, Christine.
Thanks for having me.
Christine Hassler talking about financial tips for 20-somethings.
Good tips. Cruise lines are making changes to their ships designed for a specific traveler.